my name is Atobatele. I am a shoemaker. I am proud to be one. I've been one for over 16 years now. I was born into a family. My father was a professor, the younger brother to the late, popular late Atobatele. So my uncle was a businessman. My father was a professor. And so I grew up into the family, and I look so much like my father. When he was alive, we were the same shoe size. We walk alike. In fact, I was looking at this picture recently. We were like carbon copy. Now that I'm keeping beards, there was a time he was keeping beards. So we became so close, and he said, Abiodun, I want you to be a professor. I want you to be a teacher. So he called me into his office in the University of Lagos and brought out his old results from the 70s while he was in the US, how he lectured in the US, how he became an associate professor in the US, told me the place of hard work, place of education, and he gave me the template. It was like he was campaigning to me, spread out his manifesto, and he said, my wish for you is to be so successful in your academics that you have to go for masters, you just going for your PhD. So the whole thing was planned out my first year in the university. We needed to have that meeting because shortly before then, my father demoted me from year 1 to SS2. That was in 1998, my first admission. He said my wife was not strong enough and that it would be a shame as a member of the board of some, and that he's in the faculty of education and that I cannot do less. So eventually I went back to secondary school back to SS2. He said I should go and visit and get a ride. To the glory of God, I got a ride, go back. So we had that meeting, and he said, now that you are in school, I want you to do well. A few months after, I realized that I was not cut out to be an accountant because I studied accountancy in the University of Lagos. So I started reading books. I started attending seminars on discovering your talent, discovering your purpose. Then after a search into my life, I realized I have this love for shoes. Then I remembered when I was about 8-7, my mother, I became so restless at home. My mother told me to clean all the shoes in the house. We're 6 children with 5 cousins living there. My mother was the mother of all the family members. You don't take good care of your son, she will hijack the child from you. So I had to polish an average of 24 pairs of shoes that Sunday. So somehow I fell in love with the smell of polish and the looks of nice shoes. So then I discovered I needed to be a shoemaker. So I left there. I didn't stop at that. I decided to start to do a search around since the University of Lagos would not help me. Then I saw a roadside shoemaker around my house, and I walked up to him and I said I would love to be a shoemaker. He looked at me and started asking me questions. So he said, so you are in school? I said yes. He said, the reason why we are doing what we are doing is because we do not have a hope for education. That shoemaking in Nigeria is for people that are poor. Alright? Then I told him, going from the angle of branding, I said my father then, when he was alive, I said my father is a lover of shoes. My father does most of the time Bali and most of his expensive brands. And at times, and I remember my father gave me a sandal once, like 20 years ago. And he said, I built that sandal cost 15,000 as at then. So I knew what it meant, and I saw the name, the brand. He told me the brand and how expensive that brand is. And that brand is an Italian brand. So I was telling him that story, that the kind of shoe company I want to build is one that will be able to compete globally. He looked at me and shook his head. I said, well, no problem. So I enrolled with him. I started learning from a shoemaker. So I'll go to school, then I'll go back home Friday evening to resume with Brother Sunday in a small container. So after like 6 months working with Brother Sunday, I understood all of this. I was fortunate to understand all of this from onset. Because I knew that if I would have to come out to open to my dad what I was doing, I have to come with something reasonable. So I can't do at the mediocre level. So I had mentors that were guiding me through. So the first thing I did was to register my business as an enterprise. Then I met a lawyer that decided to be my mentor and said, look, you cannot function too far, you can't move too far as an enterprise. You need to upgrade into a limited liability company. So I remember all the money I made, like 6 months into business, I had to pour it into registering the business. Then I registered my company. as a limited liability company with 1 million shares. So then I now moved forward. So when I meet people, I say, my name is Atobatele Folawiyo. I'm studying accountancy, but I also run a shoemaking business called Shoespeed with 1 million shares, ordinary shares. So I spoke to one of my friends and my mentor. I said, look, Atobatele, one of the things that you make sense with is the fact that you're a graduate and you're a shoemaker. Now, so I remembered what my teacher told me, that people that cannot afford education in Nigeria are the one into shoemaking business. So I decided to stay put, and I started learning accounting, attending lectures to be able to have my own accounting books, not because I want to get a job. Okay, let us understand the place of entrepreneurship and the place of education. Thank you so very much.
So the first scenario is Mr. Hay starts a business, and he starts with the name Mr. Hay. Everybody he meets to introduce his business to, they are like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm into tailoring. And then they give him a job, and then at the end of the day they ask him, how do we pay? Bring cash. So he got very comfortable with bringing cash. Or just send it to my account. I have a savings account because I don't want COT. So I'm not going to be using a current account. I really don't want that COT. And then one day he comes across a big cooperative, and then they want to make uniforms. And they need someone that can deliver within a week. They also have a target and a timeline for these uniforms to be delivered. And then you have a friend, Mr. Hex. Mr. Hex tells the company that I know Mr. A is very good, that he is so good that you would not fault a single uniform, that please let me recommend him to you. And he goes ahead to recommend you to the company. And then the company says, bring your profile, bring what you have done. And then you do all of that. And they said, oh, this is good. You know what? Go and fill our form. And then you get to a point and it says company name. And then you put Mr. A. And then they come back to you and they tell you that no, we need a corporate name. It can't be Mr. A. And then you try and you're like, oh, what do I do? You run around. With our beautiful system, you are not able to accomplish or to get a business name registered. And let's say, for example, you start using, you've been using Mr. A. Mr. A is actually not your name. It's actually a company name that you've been using. And then you go to search for that name. And then FAC tells you that somebody is already using Mr. A. Then you go back again. See, the time that you're using to search for the name, somebody else that has a readily registered business takes the brief and the person is done with it. By the time you are done and you go back, the opportunity is lost. So what I always tell people is, most times what most people do is penny wise, pound foolish. You are like, the lawyer is too expensive, and then I'm only just starting small. So why do I need a lawyer? I'll tell you that as an entrepreneur, the best person that you really do need for you to build a sustainable business is your lawyer. Yeah. But you see, now there's nothing like upgrading anymore. So if you start with Mr. A as an enterprise, it's very likely that when you decide to go to what people call upgrading, when you decide to convert, we call it conversion, when you decide to convert to a limited liability company, Mr. A is no longer available because somebody else has actually registered that as a limited liability company. Then you have to start changing your names. And that what that will do to your business is that you're going to lose all that you've built over the years. I have let's take for example, I'm still going to, because I'm a lawyer, I don't use anybody's name, so I'll still maintain Mr. A. Now I have Mr. A, and then everybody knows Mr. A for what Mr. A does. They know that, oh, it's a tailor and this is what the person does and everything. And then suddenly I have to change to Mr. Y. You would have to tell everybody that it is still the same Mr. A that is Mr. Y. And then you lose all your banking history. Then you now have an opportunity now to also apply for a loan or something, and they ask you to come with a record. There is no record. Because Mr. Y that you just registered is fresh and new. The years of Mr. A is lost. So those are the things that you need to think about. You need to sit down and consider all of this before you decide that, oh, I'm going to register my business. Now, never start as an entrepreneur without registering your business.
How I switched from law to fashion. When I was in uni, I hated my time in uni. Like, it was so horrible. And I went to law school, and then I passed. And then I got a store and everything. And it was really, really, really hard. I made a lot of mistakes. And this was because when I was starting, like, I've never worked in an office, so I don't really, like, apart from my working for myself, I don't have work experience. So I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them. I did not let the mistakes hold me down. So basically, building my business every day, I would go to work. I don't know how to sew, but I'm a very good manager, and I design pretty well. So what I do is, I work closely with my tailors. Everyone says how working with tailors is so hard, how one day you just get to work, all of them just say, Madam, they work again, it's all over, goodbye. I used to hear horror stories, so everybody would come and advise me, oh, you need to learn how to sew. If you don't know how to sew, you'll be able to do this fashion business, and all of that. In my journey, a lot of people have always come to advise me. Everybody has advice, obviously. But the thing is, what helps me is when people advise me, I go to do my own research and I go to learn. I'm a very fast learner, so it's easy for me to just sit down, go online or buy books, read, take my notes, know what I need to know, and then I start calling. So having a good network is also very important. Some people will say, oh, sorry, I can't be friends with this person. Like, this is not my kind of person. I'm too posh to be friends with this person. My advice is, no, like, you're not too good for anyone. We're all human beings, and we all came to this world the same way. We all live. So don't have any airs, because with law, it teaches you how to think from the angle of everyone. So if you're entering, because you can be representing any party in an agreement or in a dispute or anything. So you always have to understand where everybody is coming from, and that helps you with business. Because when you are negotiating in the market, you're entering an agreement with maybe a tailor to work on contract, or even your customers, you know where they are coming from. So education is very important. And studying law has really helped me and shaped me into the person that I am today. Yes, and you will cry. Like, even if you have all the money in the world, and if you have funding, if you are losing money every day, you can never be happy. So the thing that you need is, you need a strong support group, people that that would advise you right. You need to have people that you can run to that will advise you, and places that you can go and read up and learn. And hopefully the Nigerian factor will not get to you first.
So please come here real quick. Last.
And we saw what we saw, and we catwalk with it. And I had the privilege of watching it after. And I saw how everybody was catwalking. You know what you have done. And those of you that deserve it, you know yourself. She's going to call your name, and then you're going to go stand behind any of the machine that you fancy. So I go number 1. Contestant 31. Number 31. Number 4. 18. Number 9. 42. 6. 38. 12. 20. 38. 43. 34. 25. 24. 'I'm going to run through this again. Please put your hand on your neck so that we know that that's your name.
We are really so grateful to Mrs. Micheal Idaiwo, Assistant Director, Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development of the NYC in Lagos State. We are really so grateful to the Micheal Atobatele Foundation for this very noble gesture. They have sown into the lives of 30 youth corps members in Lagos State. I can assure the foundation that we'll do our best to encourage these corps members succeed in their chosen businesses from the NYSC angle. And by the grace of God, next year we hope they will come out here and testify to what they have been able to do with this empowerment they have received. We are indeed very grateful.
My name is Olatunde Komolafe. I'm a friend to Toyin Atobatele. I would like to encourage the students who won the machine today to gain more skills, to make use of it and encourage others on how to use this wonderful opportunity to encourage other youth corps in the next coming year to achieve better and to make and understand that by doing this they can achieve a lot more things in life. And so for Prince Atobatele, for his memory to live on, it was like a son to me, for his memories to live on and for this foundation to grow stronger and stronger in Jesus' mighty name.
My name is Atobatele.
Just hold on.
I am Micheal Atobatele's mother.
It's getting late.
And what we're doing today is to empower youth.
You have a program?
Because the foundation was founded when Micheal passed away 2 years ago. And this is the second time that we're having this empowerment. Last year we empowered 30 youth, and this year we're empowering another 30 youth. Because my son, bless his memory, passed on while he was 7. So I decided that, okay, this year let's come to NYC camp. Because when my son was alive, he loves people. He's a fashionista, he loves fashion. And he loves helping people. Micheal cannot see you suffer. Whatever he has, he's going to give that person. And that's what informed me that his memory must live. His aspiration, because he aspired to grow to be the biggest entrepreneur Nigeria will ever produce. But you know, since God wanted him more than we wanted him, I want him to live in so many people. And that's what the foundation has been able to achieve. To acquire more skill, to brush it up, so that in future they can be employer of labor. We gather every month, even those ones that we had last year. We gather every month and we bring speakers to them to teach them about business. All we teach them is about business and etiquette, how to register their company, If they have any problem, they will share it on the platform, and they will have an instructor answering them. We're still going to be diversifying, but because fashion is Michael's passion, we're first following his passion before we're going to diversify later on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, for now, Daviva is giving out. We are looking at, it's not only fashion designing, because we have our garments. We have garments that will make ready to wear. So we are looking at future employees after their service, or maybe if the NYC can ask them to come and serve in Daviva. But apart from being a fashion designer, we are picking models among them. We have some people that have the attributes of a model. So we have some that have other things apart from being a fashion designer.